Alright, so with this washer here, resident is having some issues with the water. So as you can hear, we're actually not getting anything at all with the cold. I'm gonna switch that over to hot. Nothing with the hot either. And eventually during the cycle it's cutting off. So definitely what we're gonna end up doing is changing the watt box, which is in the back. Here is our new Interflow. So the box itself is gonna come with your new watt box, a new leak sensor, and some fasteners if you need them. First step is gonna be to pull out this machine. I'm pretty small, so I'm gonna need some extra help. All right, now we have our access to our old watt box, and as you can see, this thing's really aged. What's gonna happen is the internal parts of this regulator will essentially rust up, and that is what causes the lack of water flow going into the machine. One thing to note about the watt box is you have to know where your water shutoff is, because as you can see, there's not a direct connection. So what we're gonna have to do is essentially cut the water off, which for this area here, it's about 12 inches, so I can shut this water off and essentially remove the box. So you need to know where your water shutoff is before you remove the box, because there's no direct cutoff line. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add an access panel for any kind of future repairs this may need. So I'm gonna mark it just 12 inches down to, I'm gonna try to angle it best I can to the water connections and stay away from that drain pipe, because that drain pipe will get in the way.
Is it as simple as you thought? Or
Yeah.
This sensor.
This is normal. This is normal, believe it or not.
10 of these a week?
Oh yeah.
That's funny. Well, it's not funny.
I have to add an access panel just to cut the water off.
Holy crap, seriously?
Mm-hmm.
So you had to add it? You don't have to do that now, do you?
Mm-hmm.
You're kidding me. So you have to cut a hole in the, I guess it's easier than that. How long will this last then?
This one, they're kind of, some of them have been here since like the building opened.
Oh, okay.
So some of them, you know, they stick around for a while. Some they just last like only a couple years and then they kind of go out.
Yeah, we hope to be here a few years, so we'll hopefully don't have to do this again.
Yeah, because like this one, just from looking at it, this is like one of the oldest ones I've seen.
Okay, so this may be the first repair.
Alright, so now we have our water shutoffs, and we're just going to cut off the hot and the cold water right here. Of course, make sure that we are cutting off the power, so we're going to go ahead and unplug the machine since we have access, and the watt box. Remove the leak sensor. Move our drain hose out of the way. And now we're going to disconnect the water hoses. You know, typically just need a small crack, and then you should be able to hand loosen both of these hoses. They're still going to have some water inside, so make sure that you're prepared for that and you throw them right into the drain so they're out of the way and that water is kind of draining out. Next is removing the watt box. I personally prefer using some kind of adjustable wrench. Again, just crack open. These should be able to loosen by hand. Sometimes you will need the adjustable wrench or some channel locks to loosen, but you should be able to pop them right out once they're loose. And of course, just throw this thing out because it is a piece of junk. Now, just, grab the grease that comes in the box, add that plumbing grease right into the watt box, just to kind of have a nice, smooth connection once you're redoing it. After inspecting the O-rings, just kind of pop this back in. So it's kind of nice and snug on its own. So the idea here next is to, again, hand tighten this as much as possible. If you're not really able to hand tighten it at least halfway, try to redo it to avoid cross-threading, because these things get really easily cross-threaded. Of course, simply for the fact that it's a brass on plastic connection. So finally, just make sure these are nice and snug at the top. I like to go back and forth between the cold and the hot just to make sure that we get a nice even connection. Now we're going to go ahead and put our hose back in place. Then our hoses, just in case, because you don't want that water to just accidentally pour out on you. So again, hand tighten and then grab the channel locks to do that final tightening. Once your hoses are in place, your drain's in place, you can connect the leak sensor. Real simple, just snaps right on, and then you just plug it on in. Now we are going to cut our water back on and inspect for leaks. So at the bottom of the brass fitting is where you will typically find a leak. So it looks like we're good right now, because if you do have a leak right here, that is a sign that you have accidentally cross-threaded and you're gonna just have to replace the watt box again. So we're gonna slap our access panel in there, just give it a good whack. And then we can go ahead and release that leak sensor. I like to just kind of throw it into the corner where it's out of the way, and if there is a leak, it will be able to cut off the supply running into the machine. Now we can plug the machine into the watt box and plug the watt box into the wall. Inspect your air duct. And push your machine back in the same way you got it out. Now we're just gonna go ahead and test it, and right away you can already hear that water flowing a lot more. And just a quick visual inspection of that as well, you can see that we have much better water flow in this case. So we're going to test all the temperatures to make sure that they're all running with this same kind of flow, because if you saw in the beginning of the video how the water was running, that's not what we want. This is a more ideal pressure for that water. And yeah, this is running a lot better. Temperatures are good. So just drain that water out, check the drain hose. Make sure there's no leaks. And that is how you replace the watt box. And now we've got a working washing machine.